Rain-slicked asphalt reflects the streetlight's dull glow as I walk, the metallic scent of river water heavy in the night air. Under the old concrete bridge, a still figure emerges from the shadows, its posture unnaturally straight and balanced. The figure slowly raises a hand, deliberately pointing at me as a chill grips the air, the concrete beneath it mysteriously dry. The bridge lights flicker out, plunging us into darkness, save for the figure's outline, now closer, whispering, "You saw me." Bursting through the front door, I slam it shut and frantically lock it, eyes darting to each window, seeking unseen threats. The heavy rain outside settles into a comforting patter against the glass, a stark contrast to my inner turmoil. My gaze falls to the floor, revealing wet, elongated footprints leading from the door, directly towards my bedroom. My throat tightens with fear as I grab a cold kitchen knife, its weight a fleeting comfort against the encroaching dread. From my bedroom, a slow, rhythmic dripping echoes, a chilling sound from a door I distinctly remember closing. Rain lashes through the wide-open window, soaking the carpet as a terrifying figure stands in the corner, unsettlingly dry. The figure's features are chillingly misaligned, eyes too dark, and a smile too wide, paralyzing me with fear. As the figure steps forward, wet footprints appear then vanish, and the room shrinks, air thinning before the lights extinguish. In the sudden darkness, a cold touch wraps around my arm, the rain abruptly ceasing. I awaken under a bridge, unable to move, speak, or blink, as rain falls all around but never on me. How? I try to ask. A lone figure approaches, and my arm eerily lifts, pointing, as the figure whispers, "You must replace me."
At 1:16 a.m., I saw someone standing under the bridge. There isn't supposed to be anyone there after midnight, and they were looking straight at me. I didn't stop walking. I told myself it was just another homeless man trying to stay dry from the rain. That's what normal people think. That's what I thought, until he raised his hand and slowly pointed at me. I should explain something first. In my town, there's an old concrete bridge that crosses the river near the edge of the neighborhood. Nothing special about it during the day. Cars pass over it. Kids ride bikes under it. But at night, especially when it rains, the place feels different. Heavier, quieter, like sound doesn't travel the way it should. Everyone knows the rule. If it's raining after midnight, you don't look under the bridge. You don't slow down. And if someone is standing there, you don't acknowledge them. You act like they don't exist. I broke 2 of those rules. That night, I was walking home from a late shift. The streets were empty. Street lights flickered lazily. Water pooled along the sidewalks, reflecting dull yellow light. The rain wasn't heavy. It was steady, soft, the kind that makes everything feel isolated. I remember the smell of wet asphalt, the faint metallic scent of river water swelling beneath the bridge. As I approached it, my footsteps echoed faintly. Then I saw him, standing directly in the center underneath, completely still, face hidden in shadow. At first I tried not to look, but something about his posture was wrong. Too straight, too balanced, like he wasn't shifting weight, like he wasn't breathing. And then he pointed at me, slowly, deliberately, not waving, not asking for help, just pointing at me. My stomach tightened, but instead of ignoring him, I made eye contact. That was mistake number 1. He didn't move, didn't blink, didn't lower his arm. The rain seemed to fall around him, but not on him, like he existed slightly out of place. I felt the temperature drop. The air under the bridge grew colder than it should have been. And that's when I noticed something worse. There were no footprints around him. The ground was soaked, but the concrete beneath him was dry. I should have walked away, but I slowed down. That was mistake number 2. He tilted his head slightly. Not like a person, more like something trying to copy the movement. And then, very quietly, I heard him speak, but his mouth didn't move. "You saw me." The voice wasn't loud. It felt close, too close, like it was inside my head. I stepped backward, My heartbeat echoed in my ears. The rain suddenly sounded distant, muted, like I was underwater. And then he lowered his arm, slowly, and took one step forward. That's when the lights above the bridge flickered out. Complete darkness swallowed everything, except him. I could still see his outline, standing there, closer now, when the lights flickered back on. He was gone. I stood there for several seconds, froze,
Rain soaking through my jacket.
trying to convince myself it was nothing. Just stress, just imagination. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. No one was there, but the footsteps continued, matching mine. Step for step, I walked faster. They walked faster. I stopped. They stopped. But I was alone on the street. When I finally reached my house, I slammed the door behind me, locked it, checked the windows. Everything normal, everything quiet. The rain returned to its natural sound, comforting, soft. I almost convinced myself it was over. Then I looked at the floor. Wet footprints, leading from the front door into my hallway. They weren't mine. My throat went dry. Each footprint was elongated, slightly distorted, like the shape wasn't fully correct. And they led toward my bedroom. I didn't follow them. Not immediately. I stood in the living room for what felt like 10 minutes, listening. The house was silent, except for rain tapping against the windows. Then I heard it, a faint dripping sound. From inside my bedroom, I grabbed a kitchen knife, not because I thought it would help, but because holding something felt better than holding nothing. The hallway felt longer than usual, the air colder. I could smell river water, wet stone, decay. When I reached my bedroom door, it was slightly open. I was sure I'd left it closed. The dripping sound continued, slow, rhythmic, like water falling from something tall. I pushed the door open. The window was wide open, rain blowing in violently. But that wasn't the worst part. He was standing in the corner of the room, completely dry, watching me. Up close, his face looked wrong, features slightly misaligned, eyes too dark, smile too wide, not stretched, just naturally wrong. You looked, he said. This time his mouth moved, but you didn't invite. My legs wouldn't move. I couldn't scream. The rain intensified. The room felt smaller, walls closer, air thinner. He stepped forward. The footprints formed beneath him, but they disappeared seconds later, like they didn't want to exist for long. You can fix it, he whispered. My voice barely came out. How? And that was mistake number 3. I answered. The smile widened. You must replace me. The lights went out. The rain stopped instantly. Complete silence. I felt something cold wrap around my arm. And then, nothing. I woke up under the bridge, standing, perfectly still, facing the street, rain falling around me. But not on me. I couldn't move, couldn't blink, couldn't speak. All I could do was watch. Watch as someone walked toward the bridge. Late, alone, unaware. And when they looked at me, I felt my arms slowly begin to lift, pointing at them. I understand now. There's always someone under the bridge. There always has been. And there always will be, 'cause someone always looks. If you're listening to this late at night, and it's raining, and you pass under a bridge, and someone is standing there, will you look, or will you keep walking? I don't know how long I stood there, under the bridge, pointing, watching, aware of everything, but in control of nothing. Rain fell around me, but none of it touched my skin. It curved, bent slightly, like I wasn't fully part of the world anymore. Cars passed above occasionally. Their tires hissed against wet pavement, but no one looked down. No one ever does, not unless they break the rule. I could feel my arm raised, frozen in that unnatural position, finger extended, waiting. That's the worst part, the waiting. It isn't boredom, it isn't time passing, it's pressure, like something behind me, something enormous, breathing, waiting for me to do my job. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. I tried to lower my arm. It didn't move. That's when I realized something horrifying. I wasn't being forced. I was being held in place by choice. Not mine. His. Or maybe something older. Something that existed before the bridge. Before the river. Before the town. The rain carried smells now. Wet soil. Rust. And something faintly sweet. Like rotting flowers. Then I heard footsteps. Soft. Careful. Someone walking toward the bridge. My heart, if I still had one, began pounding. Because I knew what would happen next. And I couldn't stop it. A young man. Hood up. Headphones in. Walking quickly through the rain. He almost passed. Almost. But then he slowed down. He sensed me. People always do. They feel the wrongness before they see it. He turned his head slightly. Not fully. Just enough. And that was all it took. His eyes locked onto mine. And I felt my arm move. Not lifting. Not rising. It was already raised. But now, it adjusted. My finger aimed directly at him. He froze. Pulled one headphone out. What the hell? He whispered it. Just like I had whispered. The same mistake. Acknowledgement. The rain changed. It became quieter. Thicker. Like it was absorbing sound. He stepped backward. My body leaned forward slightly. Without my permission. You saw me. The voice came from behind me. Through me. It echoed inside my chest. But it wasn't my voice anymore. It was deeper. Layered. Like multiple tones speaking at once. The young man shook his head. Nah. I'm not doing this. He turned to leave. But he had already looked. Already reacted. Already broken the rule. The lights above the bridge flickered. Once. Twice. Then darkness. In the pitch black, I felt something detach from me, like a shadow peeling away. It moved past my shoulder. Toward him, I couldn't see it fully, but I could hear it. Wet footsteps. Too many, not matching one body. The young man screamed. It was cut short, abrupt, like someone pressed mute. The lights came back on. He was gone, and I was no longer standing under the bridge. I was lying on wet pavement, breathing, gasping, rain soaking into my clothes, fully part of the world again. I sat up slowly. The bridge was empty. No figure, no presence, no pressure behind me, just rain, just night, just silence. I thought it was over. I thought I had been released, that I was the replacement, and now I was free. That's what I believed. That was my final mistake. 'Cause as I stood up, I saw someone else under the bridge, standing perfectly still, dry, watching me. And when our eyes met, they pointed at me. I understood then, there is no escape. There is no permanent replacement. The bridge doesn't need one person. It needs a witness, over and over, endlessly. I ran. This time I ran. Didn't look back. Didn't slow down. Didn't breathe until I reached my house. Locked the doors. Closed the blinds. Turned on every light. But something was wrong. The air felt heavy again. That same pressure. Behind me. Breathing. I slowly turned around. Wet footprints formed on my living room floor. But they weren't entering. They were circling. Around me. You left too soon. The voice echoed softly. Disappointed. I backed against the wall. What do you want? I whispered. Silence. Then, you still remember? And suddenly I understood something worse than being trapped. The bridge doesn't claim bodies. It claims awareness. Once you see it, once you know it exists, you belong to it, even if you leave, even if you survive. The rain began falling inside my house. Again, dripping from the ceiling, pooling at my feet. The room grew darker. Even with the lights on, you can't unknow me. The voice came from everywhere. From the walls, from the floor, from inside my own head. I fell to my knees, covered my ears, but the sound wasn't external. It was internal. And then, everything stopped. No rain, no voice, no presence, just quiet. I don't go near the bridge anymore. I moved to another part of town, different neighborhood, different route home. But it doesn't matter, because now, when it rains, I see someone standing at the edge of my street, under the only street light, completely dry, watching. They don't point. Not yet. They're waiting for me to look long enough to acknowledge, to react, because that's the rule. It's not about the bridge. It never was. It's about attention. The moment you truly see it, it sees you back. And it doesn't forget. If you're listening right now, and it's raining outside, and you feel like someone might be standing where you can't quite see, don't check. Don't look. And whatever you do, don't react. Because once you do, it won't just be under the bridge. You'll be part of the rule. Would you be strong enough not to look? Or would curiosity win? The first time I dreamed about it, I wasn't under the bridge. I was under the river. Water pressed against my eyes, my mouth, my ears. But I wasn't drowning. I was suspended, floating in darkness, thick as ink. And above me, I could see the bottom of the bridge. Not the concrete, not the metal, something older, something beneath it. Shapes moved in the water, not swimming, drifting, like bodies that had forgotten which way was up. Their eyes were open, all of them staring at me. Then I heard it. Not a voice, a vibration. Low, ancient. A sound that didn't travel through water. It traveled through memory. You're not the first. I woke up gasping. Rain against my window. Real rain. Normal rain. But the smell of river water filled my room. I didn't sleep again that night. And the next day, I did something I should have done earlier. I researched the bridge. It was built in 1924. Reinforced concrete. Nothing unusual. But before that, there had been a wooden crossing. And before that, just the river. Wide, deep, unpredictable. I went to the local archive. Old newspapers, dusty records, missing persons reports. And that's when I saw the pattern. Every few years, someone vanished during heavy rainfall. Near the river, witnesses claimed strange behavior before disappearance. Talking to someone unseen, standing still in the rain, pointing at nothing. The earliest record was older than the bridge. A ferryman's journal, one line circled in ink. The water watches when it rains. That night, I dreamed again, but this time, I wasn't underwater. I was standing on the riverbank, and the river was completely still. No current, no ripple, just a smooth black surface reflecting the sky. And something was moving beneath it, huge, slow, coiled. When rain began falling in the dream, the river reacted. Not splashing, not rippling. It inhaled. The surface dipped slightly inward, like a chest expanding. I woke up screaming, but not from fear, from understanding. The bridge isn't the source. It's an anchor, a marker, a place where the river is narrow enough for it to reach through. I stayed away from the bridge, but the rain followed. Heavier now, more frequent, even when forecasts predicted clear skies. And then the dreams changed again. This time, I wasn't a victim. I was a memory. I saw hundreds of figures standing under different bridges, across different towns, across different countries, all in rain, all pointing, all part of the same pattern. It doesn't belong to one river. It belongs to water itself. Every time it rains after midnight, it has access, not fully, not completely, just enough to be seen, and it feeds on recognition, not bodies, not blood, awareness, fear, acknowledgement. That's why the rule exists in so many forms. Don't whistle at night, don't answer the knock, don't look into the dark water, don't respond. Different cultures, same warning. I'd tried something reckless. I went back to the bridge. During daylight, no rain, clear sky. Birds overhead, it looked harmless, ordinary. Concrete cracked from age, graffiti on the pillars. Nothing supernatural, but as I stepped underneath, I felt it. A faint pressure, like standing above something massive, buried, sleeping, I placed my hand against one of the bridge supports. Cold, too cold for a warm afternoon. And I heard it again. Not through air, through bone. You remember? I stepped back quickly, heart racing. The river beside me flowed calmly. But for a second, I saw something beneath the surface. An outline, longer than the bridge itself. That night, the rain returned, harder than ever. The kind that floods streets. The kind that drowns sound. At Edan a.m. There was no one under the bridge, because I was still home, watching through my window, and I realized something horrifying. It doesn't need the bridge anymore. Not with me. My reflection in the window moved slightly, a delay, half a second behind my real movement. And then my reflection raised its arm and pointed at me. I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't react. I remembered the rule, but my reflection smiled. Slowly, wider than my face could manage. You already belong. The lights flickered. The rain stopped. And the silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of something shifting, pressing against reality like water behind glass. The truth is this: it doesn't replace you immediately. It studies you, learns you, waits until you forget to be careful. And one day, you'll look at something in the rain, and you won't realize you've crossed the line. If rain is falling right now, don't look at reflections. Not in windows, not in water, not in mirrors, because it doesn't just stand under bridges. It stands wherever water gathers, waiting to be seen. And once you understand that, it understands you.